Hello, and welcome to another video from 3.5 Archive. Today, we're going to be doing another D&D 3.5 Prestige class review, looking at the Swiftblade Prestige class, which is from an online article on the Wizards of the Coast website, now archived, written by Kolja Liquette and Brian Moran. Hopefully I pronounced those right. This article was released in conjunction with the Complete Mage sourcebook. Swiftblade studied the spell Haste more thoroughly than any other, learning to push that type of magic to its fullest extent, unlocking more ways to manipulate time itself. To become a Swiftblade, you must have a base attack bonus of +3, 6 ranks in concentration and 6 ranks in spellcraft, the feats dodge and mobility, proficiency with at least one martial weapon, and the ability to not only cast haste, but also to have spent your entire previous level casting nothing but haste with your 3rd level spell slots. This Prestige class's requirements are very restrictive, requiring 2 feats, significant investment in 2 skills, and access to the spell Haste, which is only available to sorcerers, wizards, and bards by default. The best way to get into this Prestige class would be with 7 levels of bard, or with 6 levels of sorcerer, or with 5 levels of wizard and a level of fighter. A sorcerer could take the Stalwart Sorcerer alternate class feature from Complete Mage, giving him proficiency with a martial weapon and weapon focus with it, as well as some extra hit points to survive longer in melee. However you choose to enter the Swiftblade Prestige class, you're going to want to have some decent survivability in melee combat going in, because the Swiftblade only gives you a d6 hit die. It does have a full base attack bonus though, as well as good reflex and will save, and a 4+ intelligence modifier skill point per level. And with your skill list including the jump and tumble skills along with many other useful ones to help you maintain your mobility, which is good. You also get spellcasting advancement at 2/3 of the levels of this Prestige class, which is not very good by itself, and it means that this Prestige class is going to need some truly exceptional features to be worth it. So let's take a look at those features. At level 1, you get Spring Attack as a bonus feat. Seeing as you already have dodge and mobility from qualifying for this Prestige class, this bonus feat is a lot less exciting, and Spring Attack isn't a great feat anyway. Fortunately, you get another feature at level 1, which is Swift Surge. Leftover magical energy from all the haste spells you've cast on yourself over your previous level at least give you a +1 bonus to attack rolls and a +1 dodge bonus to armor class and reflex saves. Dodge bonuses stack with everything, and the bonus to attack rolls is untyped, so this will definitely improve your accuracy in melee. This bonus stacks with the bonuses from Haste 2 despite matching them closely, so you get more use from the Haste spell when you have it active. At level 2 you get Blurred Alacrity. This gives attacks against you while you're under the effects of Haste a 20% mischance. This mischance improves later, which is excellent. A 20% mischance is, in a crude way, almost effectively 20% more hit points, which is a great boost for a character's hit dice are most likely d4s and d6s for the most part. At level 3 you get Sudden Casting. This lets you cast Haste once per round as a free action. Being able to quicken your Haste casting allows you to either cast another buff spell in the first round of combat, or leap right into action and start slashing. This is a really great feature. Usually you'll have time, a lot of time you'll have time to prepare for a fight, but sometimes you won't, sometimes you'll be ambushed, and in that case it's nice to not waste the first round of combat, which is in a lot of ways the most important, because it's the one that happens the most. I mean, you might not even get to a 2nd or 3rd round, so missing out on attacking or participating in the fight at all because you're too busy casting haste is just not fun alongside not being effective. So this is a great feature. This is probably the first sort of reach feature that you really want to go for in this Prestige class. At level 4 you get Arcane Reflexes, which gives you a bonus on initiative rolls equal to your spellcasting ability modifier. This is a competence bonus and stacks with your dexterity modifier, so it'll give you an excellent initiative bonus. Slapping on your haste at the start of combat means you're never without your mischance, which will greatly add to your survivability, meaning this feature synergizes well with the others that you've gotten so far. Also at level 4 you get a +10 foot enhancement bonus to your movement speeds, and any round you move 10 feet or more you deal an extra 1d6 points of damage. This is kind of like Skirmish, which Scouts get. It's not a fantastic feature, but it is at least more damage for a character who will be moving around a fair bit. The only issue is that one of the biggest benefits of Haste is the extra attack it gives you on a full attack, and moving around is not conducive to that. But sometimes you do have to move, so it's a good backup option for those rounds. At level 5 you get Evasive Celerity. This works like Blurred Alacrity except on spells, giving an individually targeted spell a 20% chance to just fail against you outright. This chance improves later, and this is a great ability, even with a 20% chance, since it is effectively spell resistance, but even better because the monster's caster level doesn't matter. It's always a flat 20% chance no matter how powerful the enemy spellcaster is. At level 6, you get Fortified Hustle. This effectively makes it impossible to dispel a haste spell you cast on yourself. It's pretty situational, as it's rare the enemy will waste time dispelling your haste spell, but it might happen, and this would even let it function inside of an anti-magic field, so this might prove its worth a few times in a campaign. Still, this is probably the weakest level of this prestige class so far, but the fact that it's still a good feature is a good endorsement of the prestige class, honestly. By this point, you have a 30% chance of negating spells around you, and a 50% miss chance for attacks against you. This is around where this prestige class peaks. You get new features still, and a lot of them are solid, but this is where it all comes together for the most part. Still, though, you should continue in Swiftblade if you've gotten this far. At level 7, your Swift Surge improves to +2, giving you that bonus untyped on attack rolls, armor class, and reflex saves. Oh, dodge bonus for armor class. You also get Bounding Assault, which is a feat originally, but you get this, lets you make 2 attacks while moving with Spring Attack. This is a feat that normally would take you forever to qualify for, or at least a couple more levels with significant more feat investment. Being able to make a second attack is good, but it gets an automatic -5 penalty and doesn't work with haste, since the second attack isn't part of a full attack technically. The ability is a bit of a non sequitur in the progression of the Swiftblade, but it's still helpful in some cases. Still not great, not one you're going to be looking forward to necessarily, and probably won't be using a whole lot. At level 8, you get Diligent Rapidity. This gives you freedom of movement while you are hasted. This makes you immune to paralysis, solid fog spell, slow spell, and web spell, as well as letting you fight normally underwater. But most importantly, you essentially cannot be grappled. This is great, as large, huge, and larger monsters with improved grab can really ruin your day at higher levels, turning you into a chew toy that has to attack at -4. This is an excellent ability, even if situational, simply because of how annoying being grappled can be. Yes, you can get a ring or something, but that will set you back 40,000 gold pieces. Oh, and this feature, on top of the normal freedom of movement effect, allows you to run across still or lightly moving water, which likely won't get much use, but is still cool. At level 9, you get Perpetual Options. Yes, that's the name of the feature. This lets you now choose to take an extra move or standard action each turn while under the effects of haste. So you essentially have 3 actions a turn now. You can take 2 standard actions, take a full attack and a standard action, or take a move action and then a full attack. This feature is fantastic, and that last one is probably the one you're going to use the most. Being able to move and full attack gives melee fighters a huge boost in power. That's why so many characters take a level of Barbarian with the Liam Totem alternate feature, as it gives you Pounce, which lets you full attack at the end of a charge. But this is even better because charging has to be done in an unobstructed straight line. With this, you can change direction and get to almost anywhere in the battlefield since you are faster with haste, and then make a full attack. This is a fantastic feature and a good reason to stay with this prestige class till level 9. Finally, at level 10, you get Innervated Speed. This allows you to prepare haste in a 6th level spell slot, and then when you cast it, you can instead have it work like Time Stop, but only lasting 1 round instead of the normal 1d4 plus 1 rounds that a Time Stop spell would normally last. This is a major difference and, in fact, a critical one. The advantage of Time Stop normally is that you can get at bare minimum 2 rounds to act freely. Well, 1d4 plus 1 is at least going to be 2. So this means you always come out ahead in terms of buffing yourself a little bit extra. That's to be expected for a 9th level spell, but with this you are stuck with only 1 turn, meaning you effectively break even. You can do a bit better by casting haste right away after you use this, so that you get an extra standard action per your level 9 feature, and use Perpetual Options once you've cast haste as a free action to cast 2 more spells. So it does help. It is a little bit better there than at face value. You can also use a higher level spell slot within this feature to get additional rounds, up to 4 total with the 9th level spell slot, although your spell casting progression is a little bit behind, so that is a little bit more painful to do. But that would let you slap on all your buff spells if needed. That said, no matter what, doing this is going to take up the first round of combat, and it does require you to have those higher level spell slots, unless of course you can use your quick haste feature to, change the spell into the Time Stop, in which case, yeah, that is a lot better. If that is possible, then this is an absolutely fantastic feature. Otherwise, it's another decent option, but it's not something that you're going to be using all the time. Still, this is a solid conclusion to a prestige class that turns you into a fantastic melee combatant. So, overall, the Swiftblade gives you better initiative, full attack on a move, casting haste as a swift action, and freedom of movement while hasted, among many other things. Is that worth getting into his prestige class for? Well, for a fighter wizard type character, it lets you get in a lot more attacks than you otherwise would. You lose out on 4 levels of spellcasting, but you do get a full base attack bonus. Comparing this to the Eldritch Knight prestige class, you get 3 fewer levels of spellcasting, but you get a ton of class features instead. Overall, you come out ahead here, as one of the main downsides of haste, if you could call it that, is that you normally can't make use of it on your first round of combat. In this prestige class, you do, already adding hugely to your damage output. Compared to a fighter who might get some extra base attack, which admittedly does give you extra attacks as well, a hasted fighter wizard can output quite a lot of damage. Buffing spells such as Heroism and Good Hope can easily make up for lacking in base attack bonus and missing fighter-specific bonus feats like Weapon Focus, Melee Weapon Mastery, and all that. You still should be able to grab the most important ones like Power Attack and Improved Critical, despite needing Dodge and Mobility for this prestige class. Overall, the Swiftblade gets 4 stars for concept and 4 stars for execution. Innervated speed is a bit of a lackluster feature in some ways for Capstone, but you can simply not take the 10th level if you don't care for it. And getting Spring Attack as a bonus feat when you already needed Dodge and Mobility for this prestige class is not much of a feature, especially when, again, Spring Attack isn't much of a feat in the first place. How many levels should you take in Swiftblade? Well, at least 3 for sudden casting would be the bare minimum. That would allow you to be casting haste as swift action at the start of nearly every fight as a level 10 character, getting extra attack bonus from it to close the gap of your missing base attack points from being a spellcaster. If you continue there, you might as well go up to level 9, or level 10. At this point, assuming, for example, a level 5 wizard, level 1 fighter, you'd be a 15th level character with a base attack bonus of plus 12. A fighter would have a base attack bonus of plus 15, plus an extra plus 1 or 2 from Weapon Focus. That plus 4 deficit would be compensated for by the plus 1 from Haste and another plus 2 from Swift Surge. Keeping up a Heroism or Good Hope would add plus 2 more for even more additional damage. This would allow you to keep up a pretty solid power attack with that extra attack to boot. Your defensive ability would be your biggest weakness, but that's true of any fighter mage multi-class character, and can be compensated for with spells like Displacement and Mirror Image. Taking all 10 levels isn't a bad idea, but then you don't get spellcasting advancement, so if you want to get back to improving that, then you can ditch it there. Usually you will not want to start a combat by spending a round buffing yourself up, even if it's multiple rounds in one, unless of course that can be done as a swift action. You likely will want to swift cast haste and leap right into battle. So either 3 levels or 9 levels in this prestige class is recommended. You could quit in between, but it's hard to see a good reason to. So that'll be about it for this D&D 3.5 prestige class review. I really can't think of any way in which to change this. I mean, it does have its flaws, but that's only fair to keep it from being overpowered. The Swiftblade is an excellent prestige class for fighter mages of all types. Taking advantage of one of the most powerful buff spells in the game and using it to its fullest potential makes for a strong melee combatant who can contribute arcane spellcasting to the party on the side. So that'll be it for this prestige class review. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and so on. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time here on 3.5 Archive.